A distant relative of our beloved planet is coming to pay us a visit, but don't worry, unlike what you would think, this visitor will not destroy us all, despite the fact that it might easily do so. Scientists claimed last year that they had detected a massive comet close within Neptune's orbit. Based on its brightness, they calculated its ice core to be between 62 and 125 miles long. This would be the biggest comet ever found if the calculations are correct. This comet has been verified as a faraway point of light photographed by NASA's Hubble Space Telescope. The comet C/2014 UN 271, or Bernardinelli-Bernstein, named after its two discoverers, which is 80 miles wide, is larger than the state of Rhode Island. But how did the Hubble discover such a huge comet? Keep on watching to find out. So, how did the Hubble discover such a huge comet? Despite the fact that Hubble has been in orbit since 1990, he continues to produce amazing scientific discoveries. As much as scientists would like a bigger telescope, it shows that one of the main limitations in astronomy isn't the quality of our instruments, but the sheer amount of interesting items competing for attention and financing. This comet is now orbiting Earth at a distance of around 22,000 miles per hour. For nearly a million years, Comet Bernardinelli-Bernstein has been heading toward the Sun. But don't worry, according to NASA, the closest it will get to us is around 1 billion miles, which it won't even reach until 2031. C/2002 VQ-94, a comet discovered in 2002 and believed to be 60 miles wide, had previously held the distinction of largest nucleus, but this was only for a few years. On its approach to meet us, this distant planet has been moving towards our Sun for a million years. When this 4-billion-year-old comet began its trip towards our parent star, humankind was not even a concept. This massive comet is one of the oldest things in our solar system. Comets are ice Lego bricks that have been left behind from the early days of planet building. In a gravitational sumo wrestling battle between the enormous outer planets, they were thrown out of the solar system without notice. The Oort cloud, a large reservoir of far-flung comets surrounding the solar system many trillions of kilometers distant in deep space, took up these kicked-out comets. The first sighting of this gigantic monster of a comet Bernardinelli-Bernstein came in 2010. The object was discovered in archived data obtained by the Dark Energy Survey at the Cerro Tololo Inter-American Observatory in Chile a few years later by astronomers Pedro Bernardinelli and Gary Bernstein. The object has been investigated with a variety of devices, including ground-based telescopes and space-based observatories like Hubble, since its discovery. David Jewett, an astronomer and planetary scientist, said, "It's 100 times bigger than the typical comets we've been studying for all these years." He also said, "This comet is literally the tip of the iceberg for many thousands of comets that are too faint to see in the more distant parts of the solar system. We've always suspected this comet had to be big because it is so bright at such a large distance. Now we confirm it is." Researchers were now able to officially confirm the huge size of this dirty snowball, thanks to Hubble's observations. Comets are known as dirty snowballs because they are composed of rock, ice, and other elements and debris. However, the composition of the objects might vary. The frozen object is roughly -348 degrees Fahrenheit at this stage in Comet Bernardinelli orbit, Bernstein's, which is only about 2 billion miles from the Sun. This temperature, while cold, is sufficient enough for carbon monoxide to sublimate, a process in which solid material becomes gas, from the comet's stony surface, forming a coma, a dust and gas envelope that surrounds the comet's solid center. Study lead author Monto Howe said, "This is an amazing object, given how active it is when it's still so far from the Sun. We guessed the comet might be pretty big, but we needed the best data to confirm this." On January 8, 2022, his team used Hubble to capture 5 photographs of the comet. The team's biggest problem in determining the nucleus size was differentiating the nucleus from the comet's coma. Despite its size, determining the core of this comet was challenging. Even though the nucleus is distant from the Sun, a trickle of sunlight is enough to evaporate the volatile carbon monoxide ices in the nucleus, resulting in a distorting dusty environment known as a coma. Although Bernardinelli-Bernstein is too far away for Hubble to precisely characterize its core, the scientists used the telescope to detect a light signal that revealed the comet's position. They were then able to use the Hubble data they did have and calculate the size of the nucleus by utilizing a computer modeling approach to illustrate where the object's coma would be. Through the cloud, Hubble couldn't detect the nucleus of the comet. Dr. Jewett and his colleagues were able to create a computer model of the coma by capturing such high-resolution photographs of the comet using the Space Telescope, allowing them to digitally erase it from the images. It was simple to size it up now that just the nucleus was left. Its ice nucleus is likewise blacker than coal, according to their findings. This might be due to being cooked by cosmic rays, according to Dr. Jewett. The nucleus has been attacked by high-energy cosmic rays, which have broken the chemical bonds on its surface. Some of the lighter components, such as hydrogen, were able to escape into space, leaving dark-hued carbon behind, giving the nucleus the appearance of a severely burned slice of toast. This comet's dark nucleus shows that, despite its size, it isn't all that different from others. According to Teddy Coretta, a planetary scientist, the nuclei of comets are almost usually superdark. He suggests comparing comets to piles of roadside snow. He said, even though it's still mostly ice, just adding a bit of dirt and grime can make a pile of snow just look nasty and dark. Comet Bernardinelli-Bernstein is thought to be moving from the Oort cloud, the furthest reaches of our solar system where a large number of comets reside. The Oort cloud is our solar system's furthest area. The Oort cloud's closest objects are considered to be several times further from the Sun than the Kuiper belt's distant reaches. Unlike the planet's orbits and the Kuiper belt, which are thought to be a big spherical shell encircling the remainder of the solar system, the Oort cloud is thought to be a giant spherical shell covering the rest of the solar system. It resembles a gigantic, thick-walled bubble built of frozen space debris the size of mountains, if not greater. There might be billions, if not trillions, of objects in the Oort cloud. The comets in this vast, diffuse cloud are assumed to have originated closer to the Sun but were thrown far further away by gravitational interactions with our solar system's newborn massive planets. And until another gravitational pull pulls them our way, they prefer to stay out there. Because it is so far away from Earth and came from the farthest limits of our solar system, this comet is considered to be on a 3 million year elliptical orbit around the Sun. In the furthest sections of its orbit, scientists believe it will travel nearly half a light-year away from the Sun. For a limited period of time, this comet will be visible to the human eye. At 22,000 miles per hour, it's hurtling toward the Sun. However, during its closest approach in 2031, it will pass within a billion miles of the Sun, barely below Saturn's orbit, appearing as a faint light in the night sky before boomeranging back out into the shadows. As the comet enters Saturn's orbit, more of the comet's secrets will be revealed. However, as it begins the return leg of its 3 million year circle around the Sun in 2031, scientists will know nothing about its origins, which are most likely in the Oort cloud. C/2014 UN 271 gives us a sneak peek of what's within that bubble. Dr. Jewett said, "Finding this thing is a reminder of how little we know about the outer solar system. There's a vast quantity of objects out there that we haven't seen, and a huge number of things we haven't even imagined." He added, "Who knows what the hell is going on out there?" So this comet is the largest yet, however, we don't know everything there is to know about it. Hopefully, we will be able to learn more about this massive comet quickly. What do you think about this comet? Let us know in the comments.